Reggie here, your friendly neighborhood bodybuilder and comic book collector, and I want to welcome you to Take 2. That first one went disastrously wrong, but I am back now, and I think everything is functioning properly. I want to wish you guys a happy weekend. I hope you guys have had a very productive one, and we are going to get started here momentarily. I'll give everyone an opportunity to realize that the last one has stopped and to find me here in the second setup. So we'll pause and allow folks to kind of catch up. So Big Will is here. You have arrived again, my friend, and I'm very thankful for that. Candy Graham Man is in the house. Tony Sanders is here. It is good to see you, bro. Welcome, everybody. Comic Books NYC is in the house. Black Panther is here. It's good to see you, man. Now that I know who you are, Black Panther. Bama Links, it's good to see you, man. It is always good to see you, brother. Darwin is in the house. Thank you, Darwin, for stopping by to say hello. I just left the comic shops a little while ago. My wife needed a little break, so we put one kid down. I took the other kid with me to the comic shops. We hit two local shops today. My third one has decided a couple of weeks ago that they're not going to be open on Sunday, so that's a little bit of a downer, but we were able to hit two shops, pick up a couple of things. My boy also hit me up for like 20 bucks. He got this awesome Iron Man statue that Dad has been playing with for like the last 30 minutes or so. I don't know if you guys have seen this thing. It is like, it's in the other room, but it's like fully posable. The guy has hip movement, thigh movement, knee and ankle joint movement. It is incredible. I don't remember toys being anything like that when I was a kid. And if that's how they're making them now, Dad might be getting a couple of toys. So, Tony Sanders says he is locked in the office again so you can watch the live stream. It is good to see you guys. RB3 is in the house. RB3 has been doing the 12 days of Christmas. So if you guys get a chance, check him out. I'm sure he'll be going live a little later today, giving away some awesome prizes, some signed stuff. I mean, nobody, he said this in his live stream yesterday, nobody is giving away free Jim Lee signatures except for RB3. So if you guys get a chance to check him out. Niall, how you doing? Snizzle Pop, sorry, how you doing? Bake the Snake is in the house. It's good to see you, brother. Doominator X, how you doing? And Chris, it's good to see you as well. No worries on that. That autocorrect is a monster. It either throws in 2 G's or it throws in an S as if my name is Regis, and it is neither of those things. So definitely I appreciate that, but autocorrect can be a monster. So I hit one of my local comic shops a little while ago. And as soon as I walked in the door, like it's pouring down raining, I walk in the door with my box full of a couple of comics and my little boy in one arm, and I put him down, and as soon as I look up, some guy looks at me. He says, "Friendly neighborhood bodybuilder?" And I was like, yes, it is me. I think it's only happened twice now that somebody has actually recognized me in the real world for comic books. A lot of times when I get recognized, it is like in a gym or some fitness related event where people recognize me for being on stage or in magazines or whatever. So it was kind of cool to be recognized. I think the guy's name was Joaquin. I think that's how you say it. Joaquin over at Crush Comics, brother. It was a pleasure to hang out with you for just a few moments, talk about that David Finch new Avengers series. If you get a chance, I highly recommend it. But it is really cool when you have an opportunity to meet some people in person and get a chance to interact with them a little bit. So that was definitely enjoyable for me. I hope it was a good interaction for you as well. So definitely cool. Public comic book commentator. I don't know about that, brother. Yeah, he might be watching because I told him when we were talking, I was like, dude, he was like, what did he say? I'll be catching hopefully your next live stream or something like that. I was like, dude, I'm going live soon. So he might be watching, and if he's not, he may catch it on the replay. But I at least wanted to acknowledge the fact that he acknowledged me because I think it's really cool that it happened. And So we ended up talking for a couple of minutes. He left because he had some things to do, and then he comes back like a minute later. He's like, "Can I get a selfie?" And it's like, "Of course, let's do it. Just tag me." So anyway, it is definitely good to hang out with you guys. I feel like I haven't been going live as much just because there's been a lot going on at work. So I had a couple of moments. I wanted to jump on here to chat with you guys. Two things that I want to do today. Three things technically. I want to show you guys some books that I picked up. I want to make an announcement for something that really cool is happening for the channel. And then I want to talk about something that someone just sent me a few moments ago that I think is really awesome. So I don't know if you guys have seen this thing, but I'm going to see your thoughts. So let's start off with a couple of the new books that I picked up today. This is X-Men Red number 11. This is one of these series that I've definitely been enjoying. This thing is really cool. Comic Head 84, it's good to see you, brother. I've been enjoying that X-Men Red series. Here is Avengers number 11, another series that I've been enjoying. I'm a big fan of Ed McGuinness's artwork. And so I've really been kind of enjoying this series, especially from the artwork standpoint. Here is X-23 number 7. And what I realize is that I may be making some changes for 2019 as we wrap this year up as it relates to new comic books in my collection overall. Fantastic Four Wedding Special number 1. Guess this is like a one-shot, so I went ahead and snagged that. And then I picked up Amazing Spider-Man number 11. So I'm actually kind of thinking through some things that I want to do for next year as it relates to new books and old books in my collection overall. And I want to continue kind of organizing my thoughts, and eventually I'll put it together in a video that I'll share with you guys in advance of the new year, because I think it'll be kind of cool. I may want to do things a little bit differently, and I'll see whether that kind of resonates with you guys. So, who is that? Chris is asking if Trivia Night is coming up soon. It may be. I'm actually going to be taking a fair bit of time off from work around the holidays, so I may try to do it during the holiday, Christmas time. Probably during the day, maybe, when we can get more people to actually participate, because I know a lot of people on the East Coast hate the fact that I do it at 7:30, 8 o'clock. People in other countries want to participate. So my hope is to be able to do it, earlier in the day, possibly around Christmas time. I need to get a feel for like what my plans are and what my wife has me doing, and then maybe pull the trigger. So one of the other things that I was actually, what is this? Craig, how you doing? Craig says he loves the random run. Thank you, brother. So one of the things that I was actually doing earlier today was I was on eBay, and I was looking at some books, and I was kind of thinking through my head, because of the Random Run series, Craig. Someone mentioned this to me. Someone said, "Hey, love Random Run. Can you show the Todd McFarlane run of ASM?" And that got me to thinking, and it got me to thinking about how many of those books do I actually have. So I went through my boxes and realized that I don't have as many of those Todd McFarlane ASM books as I thought that I had. I mean, I have, 298, 299, 300, 301. Like, I have some of them, right, that are in that run. The one that's homage to Action Comics number 1. Like, I have many of them, but I don't have the full first run that Todd did, nor like the second run, because I think there was like Todd, then Eric Larson, and then Todd came back for a short period. Realized that I didn't have them, so I actually jumped on eBay, and someone actually had most of the run up there that they were selling, individual books. So I'm up there, I'm bidding, I'm trying to bid, I'm trying to win these books. They were like $2, trying to win them. Didn't win a single book, not a single book, and there were probably 12 of them. Not a single book that I win. So, and mind you, I am like en route to the comic shop, right? So I'm like pulled over trying to bid on this stuff as I'm trying to work my way to the comic shop. So I get to the comic shop and I'm like, you know what? I'm actually going to check the bins to see if these books are there. Sure enough, the books were in the bin. I actually couldn't believe it. Not all of them, but a couple of them. And so what I did is I actually sorted through them. I kind of highlighted or separated out those that were in decent shape from those that were a little banged up that I felt I could wait on and maybe find better conditioned versions at a later date. But I want to show you guys these books. So this is Amazing Spider-Man number 302, Todd McFarlane book. Definitely a cool book to have. Did not have it, and I'm definitely pumped to have picked this one up. I picked up 309. This is a little Sticks and Stones action. This is a newsstand edition of this book. So I picked that up, and that one's not a newsstand. Then I picked up 311. So I went ahead and snagged that one. And then I also picked up this awesome one with Scorpion here, number 318. So just a couple of them from that run. There were 4. There were probably, I think, 4 more that had like, they probably had way too many spine ticks for me to actually pick up for like the price. I can probably find them, you know, higher grade elsewhere, but I picked up those 4, not too displeased with the amount that I had to pay for them, primarily because if you look at what they went for on eBay plus the shipping and handling, I probably made out better by buying them from a local comic shop than I would have from eBay. So I can't necessarily be too sad about that. I actually messaged my my LCS owner while I was in the shop, and I was like, dude, when is the back issue sale? And he was like, dude, you missed it by like 2 weeks. So I went ahead and snagged these, and I told him I'm going to be back because he has some other boxes that I haven't really been through, and I have a feeling there may be a couple of other nice books buried in those long boxes. But had my kid with me, so I couldn't necessarily spend all the time in the world going through them. That's part of the reason why I got hit up for the $20 toys, because while I was doing this, he was perusing the store. So thank you, Craig. Bake the Snake, definitely some cool books. Bake the Snake says he just picked up 311 himself. Chris says that he thinks John Romita Jr. is better than McFarlane. I don't know that I would argue with that, brother. Don't know that I would argue with that at all. Some of that Todd McFarlane stuff, especially on the main Spider-Man title, is not very good artwork, except for like the webbing. So I could not argue with you at all on that one. Daniel says 311 Spider-Man villain Far From Home is Mysterio. Yep. And that's part of the reason why I made sure that I grabbed this one. It's a really, really nice newsstand copy. Can't be too upset about this one at all. This was actually one of the first ones that I spotted in the box and was like, I can't believe that that's actually here. But we went ahead and grabbed it. So Doominator says some good books. Los is in the house. How you doing, brothers? Good to see you. Couple of other comments here. People saying hello. TJ Watson says that he would argue with that. Well, go for it, brother. Some arguments I just won't have, you know, because the thing is everyone has their opinion. And I think Todd McFarlane is a solid artist. I think John Romita Jr. is a solid artist. And we can debate until the cows come home who is better. And at the end of the day, I think they're both extremely talented people. So I'll let the two of you guys fight that one out. So definitely a couple of cool books that I picked up. Very pleased with, you know, the fact that I literally lost these books and then won these books like 15 minutes later. And then, you know, made the local comic shop owner pretty happy too, because he's an awesome guy. So I love to support his channel. And then I went to the second shop. And that's where I ran into Joaquin, who recognized me from the YouTube machine. He actually said to me some pretty kind words. He made a comment about how I've been able to get him to think about his collection a little bit differently than previously. And at the end of the day, for me, that's like a win, right? My job, right? My job is not to tell people what to do or what to think or how to behave or how to collect or how to spend their money. That's not my thing. My thing is to maybe create a little space to give people to think a little bit differently, right? To give a couple of things that sparks your thought, and then let you make the magic and you decide what you buy and how you want to buy and how you want to collect. But for me, it's to be entertaining and also to give people some space to think about things a little bit differently. So if I can do that, I'm definitely happy with that. All right, a couple of people saying hello. Chris says that McFarlane is in his top 5, but John Romita had some big shoes to fill because of his father's legacy. No doubt about that, because his dad is a beast. His dad is definitely a beast. John Romita is a super, super talented guy. I'm going to take a sip here from my DC-based cup that my mother bought for me. She does not recognize the difference between DC and Marvel, and so I drink out of a Superman cup. All right, so those are the books that I wanted to show you guys, and I'll do a recap at the end for those that joined a little bit late. So now, let's before we get to the announcement, I want to make mention of this thing. Maybe you guys have seen this thing. Somebody literally, comic book collection literally sent this to me right as I was walking in the room to go live, and it is this Brightburn trailer. Have you guys seen this Brightburn trailer? It is a movie, Sony Pictures, from James Gunn. Have you guys seen this thing? Because I watched it as I was like getting things set up here, and it is incredible. And I think like the best way maybe to describe this thing is like evil Superman. Like evil alien comes to this world and is basically like Superman. It is crazy. Backseat driver, how you doing? Snizzle Pop says that he has seen it. It is incredible. Dude, if you guys haven't seen this thing, Google it after this. Don't leave my live stream. Google it after. It is Brightburn official trailer. This thing is awesome.
I know there is good inside you.
Snizzle Pop says it makes him poop his pants. It is like Clark Kent, right? This is like Kansas stuff. Corn and pickup trucks and, you know, apple pie and stuff like that. It is really cool. So if you guys get a chance, I definitely encourage you to check this thing out, because the trailer, the trailer looks intense. So if you guys get a chance, check it out. This thing comes out Memorial Day. I don't know. Does anybody, Comic Head, cut me some slack. Talking about portrait mode. Cut me some slack, bro. I didn't imagine doing that until the moment I did it. What was I gonna say? I don't know what character this is based on, right? Because it's Sony, and there's actually a some kind of a logo or something like that in the thing. I don't know if you guys have. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. Let me see if I can get it. So here, does anybody recognize that logo, that insignia? Does anybody recognize that? Because I'm not quite clear if this is, I'm guessing it's based upon a comic book character, but I don't know. It's an interesting logo, because this logo actually appears throughout the movie. And so my guess is that maybe there's a uniform involved, maybe that's a language or something like that. So I don't know, definitely some cool stuff. Comic Head 84 brother, as you know, I am all about just having some fun, you know? So if you guys can remember what this is based upon, let me know, because it actually looks pretty cool. So I don't know. And I haven't heard anybody talk about it. Snizzle Pop says he heard it's basically a what if Superman grew up. Oh, okay. Okay. I think it's a comic book based, not a character base. Got it. Okay. All right. So a couple of people. All right. I can deal with that. I can get on board with the what if kind of scenario. So wait a minute. Who's directing Moon Knight? Who's directing Moon Knight if not James Gunn? Yeah. Bake the Snake says, but they can use that mark for anything. Yeah. Very true. Very true. Anime Berserker, it's the mark of the Demon King. Got it. In Anime Berserker, it's the mark of the Demon King. Okay. Very cool. I don't know. He sent this to me, and I'm trying to like digest it like almost in real time. So thanks for the insight. I may try to look it up myself to check it out just a little bit. So, all right. So let's do the announcement, and then I'll kind of do a recap, because again, wanted to keep this one kind of short. So, you guys know that I've been trying to like do some different stuff with the channel, right? I'm always like trying to do things a little bit differently, trying to have a little bit of fun, trying to like constantly like elevate some of the things that I'm doing. And so I recently reached out to one company. I reached out to one company, and I sent them a note about my channel. And it was basically like, I want to work with you guys. Do you guys want to work with me? That was, and I mean, I'm making it sound very simple, but that was essentially the gist of it. Like, I am a fan of your company and I'm interested in working with you. Is there any interest, right? Can we date? That was like the question. Can we date, right? And so the company actually followed me the very next day on YouTube. And I think they watched several of my YouTube videos, and then I immediately got a message back, and it was basically like, we like you too. I think we should date. And before you knew it, there was basically a deal had been struck. And it's, to me, it's one of those things. This is very reminiscent of what I did in fitness, so it's really no different that I'm doing it here, following kind of the same formula, if you will. And it's nice when it actually works, and there's some receptivity to some of the things that you're trying to do. And so what I've done is I've actually signed a deal with BCW Supplies. So moving forward, I am going to, or this channel, I should say, is going to be sponsored by BCW Supplies. And for those that don't know who BCW Supplies is, the best way to describe it is like they have just about everything, right? When you're talking about your collection, they have, I think, over 950 products for collectors, whether it be sleeves for baseball cards or trading cards, display cases. They have these bins, the short boxes, long bins. They have all kinds of materials that we as comic book collectors use, archival bags, backing boards, you name it, these guys have it. And so again, channel is now going to be sponsored by BCW Supplies. I'm going to be doing some awesome reviews of some of their products over the next several months. So I'm definitely pumped about that. I received a couple of products the other day. Some that I've already been familiar with, and I've just been playing with them, trying to experience them in advance of recording videos and things like that, talking about it. But it's definitely a cool thing for me, again, that I reached out to a company that that has awesome products that I really like, and they actually expressed some interest in working together. So definitely pumped about that. My hope is that you guys will like the content that I'm putting out, that they are kind of sponsoring, and that we can continue to grow this channel, continue having these amazing dialogues moving into the future. So let me get caught up here and see what people are saying. James P says, congrats, you sell Comic Books NYC says he buys way too many of their products. Joshua says congratulations. Candygram Man says top loaders are awesome. Snizzle Pop says smart move, forward thinking. Doominator X, good stuff, congrats. Low says, can he get a discount? Maybe what I'll do is actually give away one of those bins, because I've got a couple of them around here. Maybe I'll actually give one away. So what Los is talking about is this thing right here, which you guys know I'm a huge fan of because I've had these things in the back of my room for quite some time. These are the comic book bins from BCW. These things hold roughly 150 raw comics. And as you guys see, well, you probably can't see, I have a stack of them back there that my daughter likes to walk across in the back of the room. But yeah, maybe I'll do a giveaway or something like that and actually give some of these things away at some point. So Comic Books NYC says discount. Dude, I love signed comics. The bins are awesome, bro. I mean, that is the reason I reached out to BCW, is because I actually genuinely like their products and have used their products for years, whether you're talking about the regular cardboard short box or the long box, or this folio thing that I picked up several months ago when traveling for business in Texas, or the plastic bins. I actually really like and use their products. And so for me, it was just a natural message to send, like, hey, let's have a conversation. And it worked out quite well. Big Will says you like their comic folios. I do, bro. I mean, I like it because it's super simple. I mean, it's like a trapper keeper, right? It's a super simple flap. a little bit of an opening here. I actually don't even know how many books it holds, but it works pretty well. When I traveled a couple of times buying books out of town, I would just load this thing up and drop it into my book bag or my carry-on luggage, and it worked perfectly fine. I actually carry it to pick up books from the local comic shop, so I don't have to worry about bags and jostling things. I just take one of these, load it up, and I know that I'm going to be all good. So Comic Books NYC says he got 4 regular bins and 4 graded bins. Bro, the graded bins, official. They are official. Stay tuned for my product review next month because they are official, I'm telling you. So one of the real reasons I like the bins, whether you're talking about the graded bin or the raw bin, is because it has a locking mechanism, right? And I have young kids, you guys know that. So those little flaps to lock the thing down works quite nicely. They haven't quite figured out that they have to flip both of them in the same direction, if you will, in order to pop it open. So it's been a huge saving grace for me. And Wingnut says he likes the folio for hunting. It comes in handy, man. You just drop your stuff in there and you don't have to worry about it. Lowe says he uses it at cons all the time, holds about 10 to 12. I think you're probably right about that because this is what I was carrying today from the local shop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's 9 books, and I still had some room in there. So you're probably right about that. Going to I Love Sign Comics says he was going to get one, but it's too small for use at shows, but using it for is a great idea. Yeah. I Love Sign Comics. How many books you buying, bro? What are you carrying? A short box? Joking. Yeah, man. So it's definitely some cool stuff. Again, I'm super pumped that they were receptive to me reaching out to them. Lowe says he needs to get some of those plastic bins for the graded books. What's crazy is I was close to buying this thing last weekend. I was actually, and I told you guys this, I went to the local comic shop, Crush, over here, and the wife was with me. We went in, I got a couple of books, I bought my son, well, technically my kids, a couple of books. And normally when I go, I only spend like 30 bucks at the shop because I'm just getting new books, but got a couple of extra books for him. And then, he got some hardcover books, and the bill was like 75 bucks. And so I was like, I'm not going to add on another, 20, 30 bucks for some bins. So I didn't do it. And then I end up inking the deal with BCW. So, it kind of worked out in my favor, I think, So Chris, dude, it would be cool to be at the cons working the BCW booth. Only time will tell, where the relationship is going to go. My hope is that it's going to be a mutually beneficial relationship for everybody involved. At least that's my hope. I think it's incumbent upon me to work and to give fair, honest assessments of the products, right? And that was basically the thing that I said to them is that, if something isn't great, I'm not going to say it's great. You know what I'm saying? But again, I think that the reason I reached out to these guys is because I'm already familiar with their products. I'm already using the products. You know what I'm saying? Whether you're talking about the bins or the regular cardboard boxes or the folios or the bags and boards, right? I'm already using the product. So it's not like I have to familiarize myself with something that I'm not familiar with. It's not like I'm endorsing something that I've never used because I've used these products for years. So it was really, in my opinion, a good deal to strike up. So I Love Sign Comics says he usually brings 100 to 150 books. You are a baller, sir. You are a baller. No, that's good stuff. I mean, I think you probably do have to carry a nice short box. It's a good move, Jason P says for cons, he carries 2 in a backpack. Exactly. Because what happened is I went to a con and, I haven't been to many as an adult. Like I've been to a couple of small ones and then I went to one big one to see Stan Lee and I was so unprepared. At the time, I think I took like a Gemini shipper. a couple of raw books in them to be signed. I was so unprepared for like con work. You know, I was smart enough to bring a book bag, but I didn't have something like the folio, and I probably should have. And if I do more cons, I think I'll definitely be a lot smarter about how I approach it. But it wasn't my first one here. The Silicon Valley Comic-Con was not a good move. So we'll see. Chris says, yeah, Chris actually, yeah, Chris works, he does some sponsorship stuff with PGX, and I think that's been a really good relationship for him. And I don't know how long he's had that relationship, but it seems to be one that works for him, you know? So Broke Cuz of Comics says, we love comics, got a discount for PGX services, he should say. Let me see what I can do, bro. It's a new relationship. You know what I'm saying? It would be cool. It would be cool if they would do something like that. I think let's see how this thing goes, and let's see how far we can push it, because I think it would be awesome if they were able to extend some kind of discount to people that subscribe to the channel and that want to buy products. I would definitely say that they're probably going to be paying attention to the channel more closely than before. So if you have those thoughts when I post this video up, make sure you go in and comment. Let these guys see it. Let them see that there is an interest in something like that, because at the end of the day, I think that what this demonstrates is that if you don't ask, you don't get. You know what I'm saying? So definitely let your voices be heard, you know? Big Will says I should do a video, 1 or 2 cons in 2019. That would be awesome. I may. I've actually been thinking about it. I shot some video at the Berkeley Comic-Con that was earlier this year. That was like the second con that I've gone to as like an adult, and I shot a little video in there, not much. But I want to think more about that and how best to do it, right? Because I know like Comics with Bueller has done some interviews while at cons, and I think that's been well received. He's interviewed Donnie Cates, he's interviewed Jim Shooter. That Jim Shooter interview was awesome. The Donnie Cates was awesome too, but he's been doing some interviews. Jim Mint has done some behind the scenes kind of walking around cons and stuff like that. And so I want to think about how I might want to do it. So definitely I'm all ears if you guys have some thoughts on that kind of stuff. Don't hesitate to reach out to me, because, you know, you guys don't necessarily, like me, you don't necessarily give me the idea and I execute it exactly, but the exchange helps me to brainstorm and to kind of think through how I might want to handle it. So, you know, keep the ideas coming. I definitely appreciate that. And I Love Sign Comics says that experience is the best teacher. Well said, brother, because I didn't know what to expect. I was not prepared, but I think the thing is, to your point, by having gone and experienced it, I think I'm at least going to be better prepared the next time around. Probably won't be perfect still, but I'll be better prepared than I was the first time. So I think you're definitely right on that. Tina, how you doing, Tina? BCW Regie calendar. So, Tina, you're hilarious. I've only been in one calendar, and this was back in college. I did a men's calendar back in college, and I may have a copy of it somewhere around here, but I haven't done calendar work in a very, very long time. Oh man, who was that said? I think someone, I missed it. So Chris says, wait, Stan Lee wasn't at all those cons. No, Stan was only at the Silicon Valley con. That was like the main reason why I went to that con as an adult, right? That was my motivation, because I knew he was getting older and I knew I wanted to meet Stan before, you know, he passed away. And that's where I actually got that Amazing Spider-Man 50 signed by him, was at that one. And then that Amazing Spider-Man 300 was also signed at that same con, both by Stan Lee. So definitely pleased about that. Yep, it's a voice directly to the company. We have problems or suggestions. No, don't bring your problems and suggestions to me. No, 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 no. I'll say post it in the comments so they can read it. How you doing, Kyle? It's good to see you, brother. Yeah, Big Will says medium-sized con's probably the best. Yeah, man, because I'm not a fan of standing in line. I'm not a big fan of crowds and stuff like that. So I do like, I think the small con is almost too small because I've gone to one and there was no AC. So I'm thinking if it were a little larger con, maybe they could get some AC pumped in there. I don't know if you guys saw that video, but it was hot. It was hot and it wasn't the freshest in that particular room. But I am going back to that con, I think in January. They have a new location. I'm going to try to hit it up in January. So my hope is that this second experience is a little bit better than the first. So Jason P says, so is BCW starting to make... No, BCW is not. They have 950 products, yes, but tank tops are not one of them. But maybe we can convince them to make some tank tops. Oh man, you guys are hilarious. You guys are hilarious. Yeah, hey Los, thank you for stopping by, brother. I definitely appreciate it. It is raining here in California as well. Well, San Francisco area raining here. So go walk the dog, brother. Thank you for hanging out. Omega Comics, thank you for that tag earlier today. I think that guy is actually looking for mid-grade New Mutants 98, and I think he probably is looking for 7-ish, and mine is a 9.2. I sent the guy a message anyway, so who knows? Maybe we can make some magic. You know, maybe we can trade some stuff. You know, we'll see. We'll see what the dude wants to do. Unruly Simeon says that Jim's Comic-Con coverage is good. I would agree with that. Well, I've only watched one, the one where he had his daughter with him and they were kind of walking around talking to different people. And I thought that was cool. And I'd like to do something like that. I just need to think a little bit more about that, you know. Comic Head 84, I will probably not be doing any cosplay. I think that I was talking to a couple of cosplay players this weekend, and that they are talented, right? They are talented and they are creative. I am not that creative and not that talented. So I will not be doing any of that cosplay stuff. I think it's really cool. And I've seen some okay cosplay stuff and I've seen some really, really good stuff. And these people, man, they are talented and they spend a lot of time working on those costumes. And I think it's awesome. I really do. But that is definitely not my thing. Broke Cousin Comic says he did his first con a month ago and he was also not prepared. Bro, it is an overwhelming experience. It really is. But as I Love Sign Comics says, it is a learning experience. So I'm hopeful your next one will be more productive, if you will, than the first time. So yeah, Chris, I may decide to do it. Like the one that I'm going to in January is a relatively small con. I don't think there's going to be any artists there. It's basically just going to be, you know, guys that have virtual comic shops or guys that have real brick and mortar shops with books. And that's my guess. It is truly like a comic book collector's kind of place. But I think that at some point, someone will have a larger con somewhere nearby, and maybe I can do some of that behind the scenes stuff, interview stuff. We have to see. You know, I think the thing is, as the channel continues to grow and more people watch and things like that, I think it helps, right? Because people want to, if they do it, they want to make sure that there's an audience for that kind of stuff, you know? And I think, honestly, I have a pretty strong channel. It's a smaller channel, I have to admit, but I think it's a good channel, right? And we try to put out good content. I think we definitely have fun during the live streams and stuff like that. So I think my goal is to continue putting out good work that people respond to and that people find because they're interested in the content, and then we'll let the rest of that stuff worry about itself, you know. But that's my hope. That is my hope, is to be able to do some of that stuff. Omega Comics says, what is this chat about? Brother, it is about me running my mouth. I mean, just being honest. It is about me running my mouth. All right, so what it is, hold on, somebody talking about my cup. Yeah, that Jason P, that's a DC mug. My mother got this for me. My mom does not know the difference between DC and Marvel, and she clearly does not know that I am a Marvel guy, but I got this a couple of years ago, so I thought I would bring it out for you guys. So let's do a quick recap for the people that have just gotten here. We'll kind of give you guys a little bit of an update here. So I went to a local comic shop, picked up some cool books, some new stuff. This X-Men Red number 11. I've been reading this series for a while. Haven't read it for a while, but I read it initially and I've still been buying the books because I enjoyed it. Picked up Avengers number 11, a cool cover there. Been enjoying that Ed McGuinness artwork. X-23 number 7. Picked up the one-shot Fantastic Four. This is the wedding right there. Picked up a couple of copies of Amazing Spider-Man number 11 because I love some ASM. And speaking of ASM, I decided to pick up a couple of copies of some Todd McFarlane Amazing Spider-Man, specifically 302. Definitely a cool book there. Picked up some Sticks and Stones action with 309. Got some Mysterio action with 311. And then the last one that I scored was 318, some Scorpion action. So a couple of cool books that I decided to pick up today. I've decided that I'm actually going to try to buy more of the Todd McFarlane run. I think the Todd McFarlane run is awesome. Back when I was reading comics originally, I was around the time of like the Bagley stuff, so I have a lot of the Bagley stuff, but not as much as the Todd. So I have a lot of Bagley, a lot of Eric Larson, but not a lot of Todd. So I'm trying to go back and pick some of those books up because I realized I did not have as many of them as I thought that I did. So I've been trying to pick those up, and we'll continue to do so because I think it'll be cool to have more of those books in there. Yeah, you don't see a lot of Scorpion, but I picked up that first appearance of Scorpion not that long ago. And this Scorpion looks a little funky, to be honest with you. I kind of like the old Scorpion. This Scorpion's a little thick. Like, look at his waist. That waist is super thick, and I would love to have that front thigh. That front thigh is a monster. I could use some quads like that. So, who's someone saying here? Just got 309 off of eBay. Really like the story. Show MJ damsel in distress. Did you get that today, that 309? Because you may have been bidding against me, bro. Because I was bidding like probably an hour and a half ago. Did you get that today? Oh. Who is that? I think We Love Comics is in the house. He says 325 McFarlane's best ASM covers in his opinion. Yeah, he's got a couple of really cool ones. Chris says he actually was able to pick up the McFarlane runs the day that they came out. Definitely a cool spot to be in. Dude, I was a little bit after that, so I got like the Bagley Eric Larson stuff. Not as much as the Todd McFarlane stuff, unfortunately. But I was buying a ton of that Todd McFarlane over at Image. Just gold. Yeah, Chris, I didn't win one, brother. So I decided earlier today that I was actually going to pick up some of this Todd run, right? Because I did a recent random run and someone was like, hey, why don't you show your Todd McFarlane ASM? Realized I didn't have a lot. So I was like, let me go pick some up. Got on eBay today, realized this guy had a ton of ASM Todd McFarlane run for auction. These books were like $2, $3. So I'm like, I had them all watched and I joined at like 2 minutes. So I watched the countdown. I'm bidding like crazy. There were like 12 or 13 books. Didn't get one. Not a single book did I get. So I was en route to the comic shop, got to one of the comic shops, went inside, decided to check the long box. Sure enough, 4 of the ASM books in there. They had like, I think 3 or 4 more, but they had spine ticks and they weren't in the best shape for the price that was being charged. So I left those there, but I came home with these 4. So that was one of the big things. So somebody was asking what the purpose of this chat was to show you guys the books that I picked up. The other thing that I wanted to mention to you guys is, what does this say? Yeah, and I don't bid until the last second. I joined at the 2-minute mark, but I didn't bid until it was like 30 seconds left, and then kept kind of bidding. And someone, I think, on these books that were like $3, I think they probably put like 50. So it was just, there was no catching up. So I just let it go. The other thing is that I wanted to announce that I have recently signed a deal for the channel to have a sponsor, and that sponsor is BCW Supplies. BCW Supplies is a company that I've been a huge fan of for a very long time. I've used their products for years and years and years. Reached out to them recently and I was like, hey, I kind of like you. Do you like me? And we were able to work it out, and they are now going to be sponsoring the channel moving forward. So I'm definitely pumped about that. They have 950 products for collectors. It doesn't matter whether you are in sports cards or comics. They have a ton of products out there. So I'm going to be doing some awesome reviews for BCW Supplies in 2019, but I wanted to announce it because I thought it was cool and I wanted to share the good news with you guys. So we've had a lot of conversation over the course of this chat about that, but I definitely appreciate all the kind words. So definitely some cool stuff is happening, you know? So what are we talking about here? The Snipe Master. Wait until 3 seconds left. All right, Chris, I will change my technique, my friend. I will change my technique. But it was also like the middle of the day when I feel like a lot of people are like actively bidding. And I think Chris, and you correct me if I'm wrong, you do a lot like late at night, early morning kind of stuff when there's fewer bidders. And I think that's probably a better time to kind of hunt some of that stuff, you know, because I've actually won several auctions that way, kind of waiting until the last minute, doing it more at night versus the middle of the day. But yeah, I didn't have a shot at these today. So it's all good because I went into the local comic shop and got hooked up with some cool books anyway. And Chris says 30 seconds is a lifetime. It is indeed. It is indeed. Sniper bid an absurd amount, you'll win either way. There you go. There you go. And I'm not bidding an obscene amount of money. It's not that serious, you know? So, but definitely pumped about the couple of books that I picked up, and you know, couldn't be happier with these books, to be honest with you. All right. So with that, I'm going to say thank you. If you haven't seen, I released a video earlier today. It is a market watch update video. In this video, I actually go into detail on the top 50 comics and the top 50 graphic novels that were shipped by Diamond in the month of November. I actually give you actual like estimated numbers shipped into local comic shops, not sold, but shipped. So if you get a chance, check that video out. And then I have videos coming out Monday through Thursday of next week, always at 3:30 Pacific time. Monday's video, I think, is a really cool one. So hopefully you guys will not only check out the market watch today, but will stay tuned for the videos that I'll be releasing next week. And I may also be going live a couple of times next week. A couple of cool things I think are going to happen next week. So I have some additional good news to share with you guys, and I hope you guys will join me for that. But as always, I want to thank you guys in advance, or I should say, I want to thank you in retrospect for spending a little bit of time kind of hanging out with me today. I'm going to go out here, spend some time with my family, and get myself ready for the week ahead. As always, if you guys need me, don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you, Jason. I definitely appreciate it, brother.